Hello and welcome to Season 2, Episode 28 of Jacked Up Ming Frank. I'm your host, Jackie Blonowitz, here with my co-host, Frank Radio, and today is another day of NBA Finals talk. Can't believe it. We're talking NBA Finals. Wow, that's ridiculous. Spurs NBA Finals. Knicks are up to win the series because they did the work early, won the first two games, won the first game by 10, pulled away at the end, and won the second game in a last second shot by Wemby that rolled out or didn't really roll out. It kind of hit the rim, went out. And then you get to game three where the Knicks. We'll talk about it, but game three Knicks lose, and we'll discuss about that. So we want to get into. You want to break down each game. You want to
Yeah,
start with
first of all, good afternoon, Jack. Good afternoon,
yeah.
everyone. Yeah, I think it's a good idea to break down all three games. Obviously, start with game one, then go to two, then go to three. So much to talk about with this series. And then we can look ahead to game four and just kind of what the keys are going forward and, how we see this series going the rest of the way. And then your experience last night, Jack, was at the Garden. So certainly want to hear about everything that went on there, the atmosphere, what you thought with the fans, and just anything you could share about your experience being at Madison Square Garden last night.
Yeah, game one, man, that was electric. I mean, if it felt again, we'll talk about MSG's electric atmosphere, but San Antonio electric atmosphere down there as well in Texas. They do a good job, and Knicks fans really came as well. So it was, I mean, every seat was kind of packed. I mean, it's NBA Finals game, but yeah, and it came down to the wire. But look, the Knicks in this experience. I know the next game will be like where the Spurs showed their inexperience, but this game for the whole fourth quarter felt like the Knicks were the more experienced team. The way they pulled out, because I think you would talk about game two where the Knicks kind of let off the rope and be like, oh, and the really experienced team. But this game one showed the experience of the Knicks compared to the Spurs. In the game one, on the road, being able to pull it out, and it kind of showed the X factor in the clutch, which is Jalen Brunson. I mean, they don't have a guy in the clutch yet. I mean, who knows if Wemby can be that guy. But for now, when you get in the clutch time, I don't trust anyone more than Jalen Brunson to make plays. So that's what it came down to, and the Knicks to make extra passes, and yeah,
Yeah, I agree with you. Game one really highlighted the experience factor. The Knicks coming back in that game. What were they down? 14 points in the game. Finishing the game on an 11-0 run. So I agree with you on that. Like, you really saw the Knicks experience be a huge factor in the game. You
well,
could say even the deciding factor in game one, which makes sense because for the Spurs, it's their first NBA Finals game. I mean, for the Knicks too. I mean, look, the Knicks haven't been to the Finals 27 years, but the
yeah,
Knicks,
it was ridiculous.
being,
Yeah,
being a more veteran team, having the playoff experience they've had the last 4 years. So yeah, that first game, clearly the Knicks experience helped them get over the top,
well,
come
yeah.
back, make the comeback, and then finish the game really strong, scoring the last 11 points.
Yeah, I mean the Knicks really just I mean you have some icing threes by Brunson, but then you have the steal from Hart on Victor, and then that's about it. And then you have another Brunson shot when it's 99 and 95. You have the Knicks back down on offense. You have that ridiculous Brunson shot he hit to make it 101 and 95, and like they're done. Like if game one's in New York, so I mean, it was a complete pull away. I think that is what the definition of a pull away game is, and they did it perfectly. Um, and the Spurs played. Victor didn't play well, but they they put fear in the Knicks' hearts in that first quarter. Like Knicks were down by like 11, 13, but the Knicks just kept at it. and even with Brunson with that knee to knee, and then he rolled his ankle. Jose Alvarado came in perfectly and held above float for the Knicks. So Jalen Brunson was on the bench twice, or not on the bench, in the locker room twice, when the Knicks could have let go of the rope, and they were down by 11 when he walked in the locker room. You think that any normal team, their superstar, their captain, in a finals game goes to the locker room down by 11, you think they let go of the rope, especially with the Spurs being a great basketball team. Like maybe it's just too much. The Knicks turn the ball over, the pressure's too much. They don't have a guy like Brunson, but no, they kept themselves afloat enough to get Brunson back in the game. It was a it was a big time Leon Rose type of win. You know why? Because he's the general manager that bring in guys that if this Jalen Brunson, who's a small guy, and if he gets knocked around, goes to the bench or something. Not saying that we want it to happen, but if it happens, you got guys that come in there and back him up. And it was
Yeah,
huge.
the
And
Knicks' depth was
yeah,
showcased in game
yeah,
one as well.
yeah.
Two
Like that was
advantages that they have: the depth and the experience, and,
like a
and it
few
was
years ago they
showcased
don't win
in game
that game.
one.
A few years ago they let go of the rope, but it's because they have Jose Alvarado, Jordan Clarkson, who didn't play that game, but because they have OG Anobi, Carthy Towns, that really, I mean, you compare that to Game 3. Towns was aggressive when Brunson was off the court. You got Shaman also. I mean, Landry Shaman, I love the guy. He had a terrible game last night, but he had a tremendous game. Like the Knicks don't have those guys a few years ago.
No, the Knicks lose those. The Knicks lose a game like that a few years ago. I think they lose that game last year, probably too. Probably
Yeah,
last year too, unless it's against the Celtics because the Celtics are soft.
will bail you out. But yeah, I mean, if the Knicks like
But
play,
yeah, I mean,
if
like at
we beat
least
the
a
Knicks
couple
to
years
the
ago, a
Pistons
few years
last
ago, the
year,
Knicks definitely lose.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it's obviously a different story now.
I mean, yes, it obviously is. And well, I think it's also not just the bench. I think Towns has become more assertive. Whenever like he's been more aware. This is a terrible thing to say because of how bad he played last night, but it is what it is. In game one, whenever Brunson's down the court, you either Towns either was a part of every. He touched every basket. Like it was either him getting an assist, him passing it to a pick and roll where they don't give him the ball, but he gets enough of a screen, or him taking Wemby out to throw a pass and start the like every single point the Knicks got was generated from some part of Carthy Towns.
Well, big factor in the series is that Towns outplayed Wemby in the first two games, and then last night Wemby outplayed Towns. So, I mean, that's a
Well,
big key in this series. Which one of them gets the best of the other one? So
well, I
far,
think
the
I think
games that Towns has played better, the Knicks have won. The game that Wemby played better, the Spurs have won. So, I mean, you got to certainly look for that in game four. And then for however long this series goes, I mean, each game, the Towns versus Wemby matchup.
I don't think the Knicks should expect. I don't know. I don't know if this is crazy. I don't think the Knicks should want to like the Knicks shouldn't rely on Wemby scoring less than Towns and winning. Like they should still win with the lesser, not even score like with a lesser game. I know Wemby scored more in game one and Knicks still won, but like Wemby can play a more all around game than Cat. The Knicks should still be able to win that game. I don't think they should be relying on that, but that's a great matchup. Like those two are a very good indicator because of how much how much pressure Towns can put on Wembanyama defensively, even though he's a great defender. But I mean, man, Wemby wants to be in help against Josh Hart. Well, who's going to guard Towns? So that's the thing. That's the dilemma here. And whenever he's on the court making quick decisions and good decisions, the Spurs are screwed. Either they have Wemby guarding Hart and a Wemby guarding Towns, and he can just pull him out, or or Wemby guarding Hart, and he could just post up. Let's just throw a name out Castle and take him to the paint. So if he's making quick decisions, it's a lot. But when you have games where the Knicks lose, he doesn't make quick decisions. He doesn't make good enough decisions. He's passing up shots. He doesn't really understand that. Okay, Jalen's sitting. Let me get to that top of the key. Let me get to that post. Let me try to work and see if I can get something.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so again, the importance of towns for the Knicks is so obvious. So they're
Well, I
gonna.
think Brunson's got to play better. I think if I don't, I
You think Brunson was dribbling too much
way,
yesterday?
way too much. But come on, I mean, like I think the thing that my friend always says is that look, no one looks like they want the basketball. Like no one looks like they want the basketball, which I do get that, but like I mean, you gotta. I think he's got to make a decisive move. Either I'm going to the paint or I'm gonna just keep swinging the like when Brunson, he just got to make a move quick because that's what Brunson is good for on this team. Is if he can get right to the rim, either finish or he can kick out. Like
Right.
that's what he like. Whenever he's dribbling around and doing all that stuff, I mean, if you're trying to bring out Wembenyama, well, let's just throw it underneath. Let's try to get it to our big. Like I know it's great. You're in Madison Square Garden. It's a lot, and in NBA Finals, I don't think this is a Brunson thing, but he's thinking, oh, I want to cross over Wemby on MSG. I mean, or I want to score on Wemby, make it a highlight. I don't think that's Brunson at all, but like still, you have that thought in your mind of their superstar on an island that's a big. He can't move his feet with me, but when he does for a little bit, and Wemby's different, and even if you get past him, he'll still get enough to block you or contest your shot. So you got to move that ball, get it underneath. And I think he did a lot more dribbling. And I think he was forcing the issue after those first that were bad, very bad for Brunson. And he played another, in my opinion, bad game last night.
Yeah, 30 points, right? But it was. I mean, he scored a bunch of points, but his overall game wasn't good. It wasn't an efficient game, dribbling too
Well,
much,
he's the captain.
everything that you
Well, yeah, you go
you
down with the
described.
captain.
But
Yeah,
go ahead.
the result is really what the. I know, obviously, if he has like 40 points on efficient shooting and they lose, I mean, it is what it is. But he's the captain. Like you're gonna lose, and look, he's the guy. Like I know, like he's the guy you look at as the captain, as the face of the team. And if you're gonna lose, and this guy's not gonna put in like efficient shooting, even if he scores 30 points, you're still gonna look at him as like, yo, you could have did more. You're a captain. You go to him, I which is what comes with it with the territory of being the Knicks face.
So we were going into game three a little bit there, which is fine. I mean, it's the most recent game, so we really want to get to game three and then preview game four. But let's talk about game two
Man,
and
that was.
how the Spurs came back late. They went
I'm
on a
gonna be honest.
14-0
Yeah,
run. They eventually took the lead by two. And then what happened at the end? Wemby throwing the pass off of Castle's back, right? It was Castle. Um, Brunson getting
last quarter.
fouled, makes the free throw. Wemby comes down, gets a good look, misses it. The Knicks win. So I have a question for you, Jack, and then anything else you have for game two. But even though the Spurs lost game two, do you think the end of game two, with them making that big comeback, had any effect on game three? Did the Spurs take that and mentally use that to say, hey, like we lost the game, but we got back in it, and now we could build on that for game three? Do you think that had any effect on game three, or was that basically a non-issue for game three?
Well, the only thing that I don't think I think it was a non-issue because you if it was 1-1, I think so. But you're down 0-2, you're a finals team. Either way, you sugarcoat it, you lost. I think that's what in the locker room they're saying, and I think you can take some stuff, but still, I mean, you can't really. There's not really a sugarcoat. You're down 0-2, and if Wemby doesn't make a mistake, yes, you probably win. But
I pretty much agree with you. I just wonder if the Spurs found something in
just like
that
there's no
run
participation medals
that they took with
in
them to table.
finals.
Like, was there anything that happened in that run where the Spurs could say, all right, like we figured something out. Let's continue doing this in game three. I mean, it's kind of a
I
stretch, but I
want to
just
look back
wondering.
because I would say getting Wemby closer to the rim, but I don't know if that was in that run. But I would think it's just I mean, Wemby had an alley oop. He he had a bomb, like a bomb three. That was never mind. He had an alley oop. He had an N1 where he got deep in the paint. Like maybe you say that and being like, look, this Knicks team, they're great. But if I'm 7'4", if I get close to the paint and wait for my guard to feed me the ball, really nothing. I mean, he probably is like respect the talent, but there's nothing he can probably do to me. Like,
I find this to be so mind-boggling how they don't just figure out. And I'm oversimplifying this, but it's like how is he not going to the rim enough from the beginning of the series? This is the problem with modern basketball, modern sports. It's just common sense. I know, the opponent, is going to play their defense a certain way to try to prevent that, right? Like
yeah,
the other team's defense is a part of that.
yeah, and the Knicks
But
defense
he's
is great.
seven
Yeah,
four, and in the first two games, he's not getting to the rim nearly enough. And then last night, that changed, and he got to the rim a lot more. Like,
and they
it's not
won.
hard. And it's inexcusable
Well,
from a Spurs perspective that he wasn't getting to the rim nearly enough in games 1 and 2.
well, I think it exactly is the ending of game two. The ending of game two where he threw the ball off his back. He should have never dribbled that many times. Like he should have, and also, I think it's also some of the guards' fault. Like you should be calling for the ball. The guard should take the ball up. I don't like. You could do it. It's fine, but it's the NBA Finals. The Knicks are the best. Like Knicks are the NBA Finals defense. They're an NBA Finals defense. Like whatever works well has to work well for you. And I know it sucks because he probably wants to shoot threes and dribble. And yes, you could do it, but you have to start. And that's why I loved Wemby starting game three. I mean, I didn't love it at all. I actually hated it, but he was in the paint and asserted his will. You don't have to be assert your will in
But
the
again,
paint.
isn't this just so obvious? Like they make it they make it too complex, and I again, it's a real problem with the way the game is played now,
Well, it's because
and
it's
where it's the guy's 7'4". Get him inside. He did it last night. Like he should have been able to do it in games 1 and 2. I I don't know. I don't want to be too simple with things, but there are things that are just simple. And again, I don't give the Knicks credit for the defense, but part of it was the Knicks defense, I think, but then part of it was not. Part of it was just the way the Spurs played it and the way Wembanyama. I'll just say Wemby. I struggle to pronounce his name. Like the way him and the team played it, and it's from their perspective, it's inexcusable.
well, I think also the way the Knicks play defense is whenever he was trying to post up, he didn't catch the ball. He didn't let. Like I know he's not the strongest guy ever, but it's the NBA Finals. You got to assert your will to a position, to the block. If you're going to consistently get pushed down the block by Josh Hart and OG Anunoby strong as hell, but you're 7'5", assert your will in that block. You know where he's not even catching the ball on the 3-point line. He's catching the ball like outside the. If you catch the ball outside the charge circle, you're gonna lose that possession. Even if you score, it's gonna be difficult. And at times every single time he scored, it like made you cringe because it didn't look like it wouldn't look effortless like a superstar would. And Wembanyama is a star, or even look like a star would, or even a future faces the league. The way to score, like whenever you put the ball in the basket, it looked hard. Like it didn't look like when we talk about Steph Curry, effortless player. Like not comparing him to Steph Curry at all, but like talking about those stars, like even Brunson, sometimes it looks super effortless for him.
Yeah.
Towns, sometimes it looks very effortless for him. I mean, that's like kind of iffy, but you know what I mean. It just looked very difficult, and he didn't have to make it that difficult because he should have asserted his will in that charge circle instead of getting pushed out by Josh Hart. and like Landry Shamet was pushing like Jose Alvarado was pushing him out of the George circle. That guy's 6 foot tall. I love him. Like it's probably also because Jose Alvarado is a pest, but you need to assert your will still. You're 7'4". Get yourself on that block. You can't be pushed out early because now, even if you do score, it's going to be so difficult. And in the 7 games, you know it's going to be a deep series. You obviously want to be for the Spurs. You can't be scoring that hard every single play. You won't end up with, you know, big time games or memorable games in the Garden. Like you will end up with maybe a tough 25.
Yeah, for him, I mean, with his size and his ability, it should be more effortless than it was the first 2 games. You would say, like last night was a different story.
Yeah, I mean, he did very well early, which opened the game, but I mean, he had some times where I mean, he did very night. But I he did really well last night. But there's still some times where he set up for threes. But I mean, it is what it is. He only shot 4 threes compared to like that's what I said about him. Like he shot 9 on game 1 and 2. I'm like, look, can we like at least reduce it to 3 or 4 at least because we know you could shoot him. Like if the Knicks are gonna leave you wide open, take the shot because you can do it and you practice it. But 9 times, like it just isn't good when he's doing that. And he only shot 4 threes, went 50%, 2 for 4.
Yeah, and again, it's not that complicated. I mean, you see the difference in results between taking 9 threes in both of the first 2 games and then 4 last night. I mean, if it's there and he can shoot it, I mean, he's an amazing
Well,
talent. But
that's why Wemby is this freaking nature is because you can't leave him behind the arc, and you can't close out hard on him because he'll go past you. He has enough handle to do that. But when you're trying to extend yourself against a great New York defense, it's not going to work. Like you have to go like whenever you're met with something that's very tough, you go back to what you're good at, what you know you're good at. And what he knows he's good at is probably his height and his touch.
so when it comes to Wemby, from a Knicks perspective, do you fear that he he got it going last night. He played his best game of the series. Now he's played 3 NBA Finals games. So he's 22 years old, but now he has 3 games of experience in the finals under his belt. He has this whole postseason. You've seen the times where he's just absolutely great. So are you concerned? Do you worry? Do you fear that now he's going to take off in this series and he's just going to get better and better? You got those 2, let's call them subpar games out of the way. Not bad games in game 1 and 2, but subpar, not nearly up to his standard. Is there a concern now that he's now comfortable in this series and he's just going to take off and take control of the series?
well, I
Because
think
he's
if
the best player in the series. So, what's the possibility of that happening where he now asserts his will and he's dominant and really takes over?
well, there's a nervous level of that definitely, but you also I think in game 3 you got to contain Stefan Castle. You can't let any of them
He's
get
really
going.
good.
Like he's really good, but you have to like he got to the basket way too easily, and it might be because he's good, or great, or very but it's also with the NBA. You have to contest against him. Like I know he's fast, but I mean you're gonna have to like if Wemby's gonna have 40, you can't really have someone giving you an efficient 23. So that's got to be something the Knicks look at is like we've got to know after the first quarter, is this a Wembanyama type game? Where do we stop now? How do we change our matchups so we continue to limit the other guys?
So then, where are you at now on this series? Which you predicted the first three games correctly. I was thinking that after game two, you said the Knicks would win the first two games on the road, which I don't think too many
Yeah.
people predicted that. So you nailed that, and then you nailed that the Knicks would lose game three at home. So it's gone the way you thought. I thought the Knicks would be up 2-1. I just didn't think it was going to happen this way. So where are you at in the series? Like going into game four, what are your overall thoughts on that? What are the big keys for tomorrow night? Like, where's your confidence level at with the Knicks? I know there's a few things there, but why don't you take it away now, looking ahead, particularly the game four, but overall with the series.
I'm really nervous. This is, I mean, it's gonna be a revolving thing, but this is the biggest game of the season. It's the biggest game this Knicks scores ever played together. But how are they gonna bounce back after a loss? Because the Knicks just don't know how to lose, I guess, before this. So now they lost, and I think they're a team that I don't really think that's a big deal about at all. Like whatever. Like this team should be made out of enough stuff to either get take a loss and go back, especially with a game you can say you played terrible and the referees were horrible
Yes,
and
the
you
referees are definitely worth talking about.
it's worth
And I
talking.
and I think it's a big issue in the NBA, and it's been a big issue for the NBA for a long time. And you'll have people that'll say, "Oh, you get conspiratorial with this stuff," but the officiating is absolutely worth talking about. And it's not an anti-Knicks thing. It's just has been talked about for years about which particular officials are on games. Does the NBA put officials on games to sway a game, not to fix a game? They're not fixing games, but to manipulate games to try to get a desired outcome. Like, do you think that goes on? And do you think that's going on in this series? I'll let you jump in first because I have a lot of thoughts on it.
Well, I think it was more evident like in well, I think it was obvious to say like game two, people like refs were going home way, and it was a 1-1. It was a 1-0 series in the finals. You obviously don't want for viewing to for it to be 1-1. I, I don't know. I don't know how. I think they were calling a lot for on New York, and every single time Jalen Brunson came to the court, which is fine, but he was getting absolutely like hacked. And it's
Yeah.
fine if you're gonna be like, oh, let's play physical. But look, I mean, if you're gonna call the touch fouls on the other end, I need something
Yeah.
here.
Well, and the problem, Jack, is it's so blatant. Like the old adage is with officiating in any sport, just be consistent. If you're going to
Well,
let them play, then consistently let them play. If you're going to, call it tighter, then consistently call it tighter. In baseball, it's like if you're going to have a wide strike zone, be consistent with the wide strike
well,
zone or tight strike zone. But it's so evident that the officiating has been inconsistent. I think particularly last night, and then it makes you wonder why it is. I don't think it's because the referees are are bad referees, like they can't do their job. I'm sorry. I think it's because the NBA, you know, gets the officiating to go the way they want it to go. I really believe that. I think a lot
well,
of
look,
people do believe that,
I think
and
the
I don't
thing
think
that
that's conspiratorial. And let me say this: I think if the Knicks were down 0-2, the calls would have went with the Knicks last night because they want a longer series. So again, it's not an anti-Knicks and pro Spurs thing. It's just they want a longer series.
I think that what would have solved everything, and what they should do every game, is have both the coaches and the ref talk. Like if that's 20 minutes before the game, 30 minutes before game, how do the refs want to call it? Like if they say, okay, Coach Mike, Coach Mitch Johnson, we're gonna call this game tight. And like, okay, fine, we're ready for it. We're gonna call this game loose. So anything that happens, you be like, oh look, ref, you said we're gonna call this one loose. Why did my guy like barely touch wrist and we're gonna call it a foul? So stuff like that, I think, would
Yeah,
be
I don't know
better.
about them talking before the game. I mean, it's an interesting idea.
Like I
Um,
think that's more like I feel like that's more lower basketball thinking.
but I've never even liked the whole thing. Like, it is what it is. But, oh, we're gonna call it tight. We're not gonna call it tight. Like, just call. I know there's subjectivity there. Like,
Call the game right.
but
I
just
you're
call
never
it the
gonna
right
get
way.
that. These are not.
Call
Yeah.
it according to the rules. Like, I always hated that in baseball. Like, oh, we have different strike zones. Call the strike zone. Like you shouldn't have personal strike zones. Like the strike zone is a strike zone. A foul is a
Well,
foul. Like,
then it makes it about yourself. Whoa, with this personal. Then we're now ready for you, like your
right.
strike zone. Like
Yeah, like
I
it
get
makes it
it. You
makes
get
the
paid money.
officials
You get
too
paid
big
money.
a part of the game. But even having said that, at the very least be consistent. They were clearly not consistent last night. It makes it look very suspect. And it's been in this way in the NBA for a long time. I mean, the NBA had a huge scandal with Tim Donaghy. Tim Donaghy wrote a book and he's been very outspoken and said, he's admitted everything he did. Not that he's a hero, but he came out and said it wasn't just isolated to me. Like this is there's a major problem in the NBA with officiating.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
I think
we don't know whether his claims are true or not, but I think there is a major problem in the NBA with officiating, and I think the NBA has the biggest issues with officiating of the four major sports. I think the NFL and MLB have big problems too. I don't think the NHL so much, but the NBA, I think there's the biggest
well,
questions and the biggest issues in terms of its officiating.
yeah. Yeah, there is. Well, look, what I really dislike, and as one thing I do, is that when you see a goaltend, it's obviously or a block, it's obviously a block, and then it's a close game at the end. I think that happened in game two, where it was like a momentum type moment, where maybe the Spurs had momentum and the Knicks had momentum. Probably Knicks had momentum because I was mad, but I was like, look, why do we even need a like? There should be no challenging. We want to see you talk about that play on the screen. I don't want to see you. I want to see Victor Wembanyama and Jalen Brunson play basketball. I don't want to see you tell me something that we know. I mean, obviously you could have a replay with those, play-by-play broadcasters. Like, oh, yeah, it's obviously a block. If you see that ball once and you know it's
Yeah.
a block, or it's a goaltend, there should be we shouldn't be able to sit here for even a minute.
Well, I don't like the way they do replay either. I don't like the way they do the NBA,
Well, the challenging is fine.
MLB, or NFL. I think all the leagues, NHL too. I think they need to improve on it too. But I mean, that's like that's like kind of a separate issue. I
Yeah,
think the way
but
they handle
the
it. That's
referees
just
trying to
another
take away
issue with
control.
officiating. But I think the big thing is the way the NBA assigns the officials. I think there's clear evidence over the years that they assign officials to try to get particular outcomes in these games. I don't think the games are fixed, although the NBA,
Well, you think like if there's a tough team that's like up like 3-2, you think they assign like not a tight team, like a gritty, like Pistons, let's just say, and they give them like a tight ref. You think
yeah,
that
I
that's
think they do that, and a lot of people think they do that. I think it's evident that that's been going on for a long time, and I mean, you go back to the '90s and the way they called the games that the Bulls played and Jordan. And look, they were amazing, all time great. Jordan's the best player
we thought
ever.
you get like home calls and
But
stuff
I
like
mean, Jordan and the Bulls got calls
yeah
all the time. Like it's blatantly obvious. Jordan pushed off in the '98 finals with that last shot. The big one I think that's been talked about the most going back um, in the playoffs, 2002, the Kings and the Lakers, and just
yeah.
how how blatant the officiating was in favor of the Lakers. I think it was in the game 6 of that series. It was either in 6 or 7. I think it was game 6, but regardless, the officiating was so blatantly um, biased towards the Lakers, blatantly favoring the Lakers. I don't know any other way to put it. Like favoring is like, oh, what do you mean by favoring? Like the calls were going the Lakers' way. And again, it's not like it's just like a small group of people saying this. Like this is to me something that a lot of people think has been going on, and that one, Kings Lakers 0-2, is like the one that really stands out to people. That's I think has been talked about the most over the years.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
I think last night it was a major factor. It just was. Now I don't like any Knicks fans that are approaching it in a sour grapes type of way, or like, oh, the league is against the Knicks. No, I don't agree with that. Although I'll say this, Shaq, like I wonder which team the NBA wants to win these finals. Um, like
just
and again, like
good for Adam Silver
you
either
could
way.
go too far with this, but I do find it interesting. And again, I think in the NBA it's worth talking about. So then, with Game 4, I would think Game 4 they're going to want the officials to call it towards the Spurs to get the series tied 2-2. So you know what? I do think that's an issue for tomorrow night. And I'd be surprised if after Game 4 we're not talking about whether the Knicks win or lose. But I'd be surprised if we're not talking about how the officiating was in favor of the Spurs in Game 4.
Well, look, I think Adam Silver with this, he's good either way because you have. I mean, you could make this a big question because I think this is a good thing of who would the NBA want to win because it's kind of they bring both good things. Like if the Knicks win, you break a 53-year draft for New York, and it's New York, and they win an NBA championship. Ridiculous. I mean, it's ridiculous. But then you get the Spurs on the other hand, Victor Wembanyama, they think he's going to be the face of the league. You get him his first NBA championship that early in his career.
That's how I tend to think the NBA views it. I think they want the Spurs to win because they want to get them their first championship to start a dynasty. Because the NBA is all about dynasties. Like the NBA thrives off dynasties. It's a dynasty league. So you got an opportunity for another Spurs dynasty with all these young players, with this megastar in Wemby. So you get that started now. You get them a championship. With the Knicks, you could argue the NBA wants the Knicks to win, breaking the drought, but the New York Knicks are back. They have a really, really good team. Maybe you want to even call them a great team. They win these finals, they're a great team.
Yeah.
The Knicks have a really, really good team. They're back. They're making deep playoff runs. They're in the finals this year. The Knicks are going to be around, for, I would say, at least a few years, right? Like the Knicks are still going to be really good. They're going to be the favorites of the East next year. So the Knicks are already huge. Like they're the New York franchise. They're not one of the great franchises in terms of winning championships. Lakers and Celtics are the two biggest. The Bulls haven't won in a long time, but they had their dynasty. The Spurs, right? But the Knicks are the New York franchise. They're the New York Knicks. They're New York City's team. They're already huge. So, I would say that from the NBA's point of view, it might be better if the Knicks lose because then you still have the storyline that the Knicks haven't won a championship. You keep that going. And again, the Knicks are going to be back next year. Decent to good chance they're back in the finals. So you run it back next year. Maybe it's Spurs Knicks again next year. I think I said last year. Spurs Knicks again next year. The Knicks are still chasing the title. So, you could say like it's more advantageous for the NBA to still have that storyline that the Knicks are chasing a title going into next year. Instead of they won the title, and then that storyline's gone. So again, I want to be careful here because I don't want to go too far with this and get into being conspiratorial, but I think this is a real thing with the NBA. And I'm from a Knicks perspective, I kind of am concerned about it. And I think a lot of Knicks fans are. And I don't think it's just paranoia. I think it's a real concern. And
Yeah,
again, the games aren't fixed, but I think the games are swayed. And I think the officiating plays a role in swaying these games.
yeah. I mean, you look at the play with Wembanyama shoving Brunson, and that's gonna be reviewed. They'll make a call to it tonight. I don't know if you saw that video
Which
of
video?
of when of Wembanyama throwing
Oh yeah.
Brunson's head.
Yeah.
They're gonna review that, and I think if they give him a flagrant two, he's suspended for.
They ain't giving him a flagrant two. There's zero chance.
I know.
There
There's
he could have punched Brunson in the face and they'd find a way to not suspend them.
there's a lot of
I,
people that are saying if they get a flagrant.
I mean, I'm using hyperbole there. I'm exaggerating, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
He's not getting suspended.
yeah,
But I tell you what, I think they'd suspend a Nick if a Nick had done something that warranted a flagrant two. I do.
yeah,
Don't get me going 97 with that brawl in Miami, Game 5, and how that cost the Knicks a series with the suspensions with the guys coming off the floor. I don't know how much you know about that, but I mean that ruined the Knicks season.
yeah,
But also, Jack, to be fair, like the Spurs played better than the Knicks last night.
yeah,
So the Spurs are probably winning that game anyway. But again, like the officiating is worth discussing. There's times where people bring up officiating and it's either not worth discussing or it's discussed too much and it's taken too far. But I don't think so in this case. And I don't think so with the NBA. I think the NBA has a real credibility issue.
yeah. I think it does, and I think that game 3 and even a little bit of a game 2 also was a lot of towards the Spurs. Even though the Knicks got away with it, I mean, Knicks didn't get away with it, but they got away with it and they won game 2. But still, you could still see it there.
Fair to say, Game 4 will be the most physical game of the series.
Yeah,
It's gonna be escalated in terms of physicality.
yeah, so
Could you see a lower scoring game in Game 4 than Game 3? Just because it's probably going to be even more physical, and it's been a physical series. But I think tomorrow, I mean, the emotions are going to be high. The tension, like it's going to be physical.
it's gonna be physical. It's gonna be loud. Yeah, I'm excited. I think it's gonna be very physical, but I think the Knicks are ready for it.
Oh, Knicks are definitely ready for
Yeah,
it. No question. How about this one too? This element. I I give you a question to start. Um, so question is, who is there more pressure on? I mean, obviously there's a ton of pressure on both of them, but which team is there more pressure on? And do you agree with this statement that the pressure on the Knicks went up significantly after they went up 2-0? Because coming into the series, the Spurs were the favorite, at least by the betting lines. They were a solid favorite, 2-1 favorite. Once the Knicks went up 2-0, won the first two on the road, the Knicks became a very big favorite. The Knicks haven't won in 53 years. So now, once you're up 2-0, you better win the series. So do you agree with that the pressure on the Knicks escalated a lot after game 2? And now, Spurs winning game 3, the pressure on the Knicks is massive in Game 4.
I think it's massive for New York. I mean, it also, you'll lose grip of the series if you're San Antonio and you lose game four. But man, I think this game is a real. I mean, it could change the series. One team wins, they're probably like if either. Dude, I think that if the Spurs win, they're in the driver's seat to win the series, and the Knicks win, they're obviously in the driver's seat to win the series.
Yeah, I think whoever wins Game 4 is in the driver's seat for sure. I mean, I think that's just obvious. I think the Knicks can still win if they go down 2-2. The Spurs can win down 3-1, but I would say that is very, very small chance. Well, I think if the Knicks lose Game 4, the Knicks go on the road and win. Like I don't. The Knicks aren't done if they lose Game 4. Like I don't know. I don't know. Like if they wind up losing a game, you got to kind of see how the game goes. Like it really depends on how Game 4 is played, and then you reassess after the game. But the Knicks are not done by any means if they lose Game 4. The Spurs, I think they're pretty much done if they lose Game 4. Not totally, but be very difficult to come back and win the series. But I do wonder with the Knicks. Like the Knicks are a really tough team. They persevere. They come back from big deficits. Like they're tough as nails, no question about it. But these teams that have um, history to deal with, it's a thing. And if you look at other sports, you look at the Boston Red Sox before they won in 2004. All the pressure on Red Sox teams to win a World Series, and then I mean, you know about 1986, right? Red Sox, Mets, Bill Buckner, that series. Like the pressure that was on the Red Sox teams to get it done, and then the heartbreaking losses that they had, the Chicago Cubs with their drought. Like that's a thing. So the Knicks, when they're in the Garden, you have all these high profile people, and the you were there last night. I want to hear from you, like the atmosphere and like really telling us about
Yeah,
that. But the history part of it's a real thing, and it's not that the Knicks can't handle it, but they're really, and the Knicks are aware of it. They know the drought, right? Um, and there's so much pressure on them to end that drought and win this championship. And then it's not that the Knicks can't win a championship next year or the year after. Like they're going to be in contention, but I think it's fair to say it's going to get more and more difficult. As the
well,
Spurs
look, I think
get
it's
better and better.
yeah.
You got the Thunder. Let's see with the Pistons next year. Who knows with the Celtics? Like it's not easy to get back. The Knicks are going to be in the mix, so it really seems like there's no better time for the Knicks to win a championship than now. And if they don't win this one, it really makes you worry going forward, like, because again, like there's just no guarantees. So I think the Knicks are a team that really, really can handle pressure. They've shown that, but now the pressure is greater than it's been, and it's going to build for them as this series goes on, particularly if they lose Game 4. Like now, there's even more pressure in Game 3. Excuse me. There's more pressure because of Game 3. Then if they lose Game 4, it magnifies even more. It's like, oh no, you've lost the last two. You lost two at home. Are the Knicks going to blow it? I just, even for a really tough team mentally like the Knicks, and they're all around just a tough team, like, is there a point where it does get to them? Is there a point where it does become a significant factor for the Knicks?
Yeah,
And then Jack, I know I've talked a while here, like, and then couple that with the Spurs gaining experience and gaining confidence.
well, I think it's obvious you're up 2-1 in the NBA Finals. You're not gonna get like a you will probably never get a better opportunity than this in the next like 10 years or 5 to 10 years. I mean, who really knows? But
You
the
don't know. I
team's
mean,
getting
look, they could be
older.
back in the finals next year and win. Yes, but it's just like now, man, like you went up 2-0. Again, before the series, the Spurs were 2-1 favorites. The Knicks were up 2-0, and now it's like you got to win it now.
Well, and then your opponent on the other side has never really been through a playoff run, and maybe you play them next year where there's more experience. You maybe like OKC Thunder team or somebody else in the Western Conference. Like they probably won't. You probably won't play anybody else in the Western Conference, but maybe play the Nuggets. Who knows? But you
Well,
you
I
play
think it's
someone
fair
in
to
the
say the
West.
Spurs and the Thunder will get tougher next year. Like it's going to be tougher to beat them next year.
Yeah.
But that's you know that's obviously for down the road. But like right now, I just wonder, even for a team that is as tough as the Knicks, can the pressure get to a point where it does become difficult for them to handle? And maybe somebody can make an argument that, and there are people doing this, that the Knicks must win game four. I'm not going to make that argument. I think they can still win the series if they lose game four, but I get people making that argument.
Well,
And
I
is
think
it possible it's
it's
easier for
hard.
the Knicks on the road? Like it's easier out of the Garden, like with all the build up there and the environment and just like the fans living and dying every single play and just this hunger for a championship. Is it maybe easier for the Knicks to be on the road?
Well, to not be right there, I think it is. It is a little. I mean, but the Knicks just weren't playing good basketball last night. Like I don't think. Like I think the Knicks feed off the crowd, or anybody feeds off the crowd when they're playing well. Like you're not going to feed off of anything if you're just playing trash. Like I don't think that you could do any like you're gonna play trash somewhere. Like the only way home helps you is if you're rolling and they keep you rolling. They keep you in it. Yes, they can probably sometimes get you out of the doldrums, but the Knicks weren't good enough to get out of that bad start. And when they did, they weren't able to keep that intensity. I mean, they were up by 4 at the end of the second half. I mean, look at the difference between the Spurs, how we talked to them today about that they were just losing in going into the second half. Like, dude, their season they were losing in the start of the second half of their season on the line, and this Knicks had opportunities and they just couldn't capitalize.
Could you say that the home court in this series means nothing?
Well,
Like, I mean,
it
the road
should.
teams
It
won the first three
obviously
games. Like,
should, but
clearly, clearly the Spurs were not phased by the Garden last night. I didn't think the Knicks would be phased by San Antonio. I'm sorry, but that building's not the Garden. So the
no.
Spurs rose to the occasion in the Garden. So it's like it's just like it's a series where I just think take out of the equation where the game's being played. I don't think it matters. Like even if this series goes 7 games, I don't think the Spurs have an advantage being at home in Game 7. It
I
sounds
don't know.
ridiculous, but I
I
don't
don't.
think they do.
I don't. I think being Game 7 at home, you have in the NBA Finals, you have some sort of advantage. Like,
Man, maybe
like,
I'm taking it too far, but
yeah,
I just
Game Seven
if there
NBA
were a
Finals,
Game
you want
7,
to be home.
I wouldn't go into that game like, man, the Knicks are gonna have so tough time winning on the road. Like, no, I don't think that.
You obviously want to be even in this series. You want to be home Game 7 and not. So
Yeah, I think ultimately you'd rather be home. I don't think the home court advantage is much of a factor in the series, and it's pretty simple. Like the road team won the first 3 games.
well, I think it comes down to. I mean, it doesn't really matter where you play. It's just who's going to play better, who's going to step up, and
Well,
time.
I think like the Spurs are not phased by the Garden. They proved that last night. I don't think they'll be phased by the Garden tomorrow night. Um,
That means you get set. You get 5, 6, or 7 great games of just no outside factors. You just have great basketball between two good, very good teams. So I mean, look, I think the Knicks have to win one at home. Not like you have to. Not like it's over. Not like the series is over if they don't. But you
It's just,
want
it's
to.
it's a quirky series, man. Like I could honestly like I could see it going seven and the road team wins all 7 games. I'm not predicting that, but it's possible. Like I really think it's a matter of what team plays better on that night. Yeah, I know we talk about the officiating, but let's like just table that. For this part of it, like I just it's just to me it's whoever executes better on that given night. I don't think the building has much of an impact. Where I think there are times where it does.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even think
And I
about
wonder for the
last
Knicks, like
series,
can
San
they
Antonio
field
coming
it?
into OKC to win Game 7. I mean, it's the home court's really been like in this playoffs. Really felt like
Right.
not a lot. I don't know if it's something like it's a newer thing where like I don't know, home court has been. I think fans. I think OKC was loud as hell. I don't think it was that. I don't think it was. I don't think we're saying anything about the fans. At the end of the day, the players got to play. So
Yeah, I mean, again, it depends on the series, I guess. But just the way the series unfolded, like I don't think where the game is played really has much of an impact. Like if the Knicks have a choice, would you rather be at the Garden tomorrow night or San Antonio? Yeah, you'd rather be in the Garden. Would the Spurs rather be home or away? Yeah, you'd rather be home. But it's going to come down to the execution. Who executes better tomorrow night, and then obviously there's going to be a game 5, and if there's a 6 and a 7, it's going to be the same thing.
yeah.
So then, Jack, why don't you tell us about the experience in the Garden last night? Where did you sit? Just tell us the whole thing. The experience with your father, and what your itinerary was, what you guys did, and just spend a few minutes taking us through it.
Well, this one was a weird one. Definitely a weird one. I mean, not a weird one in a fact where, like, the itinerary was a weird one because we had to come very early, 6:30. President was in town and it's bulletproof glass, so we had to sit through and walk through bunch of security. Checked at every single point, been like checkpoints and stuff. Then you had to get in. Then you had to check yourself again to the metal detector. Then you had to, check your tickets. Crazy. It wasn't that actually we were very early enough for it not really to matter.
What
But
time did you get
everybody,
there?
what?
What time did you get there?
So we got in like at 6:45,
Okay.
so it wasn't that bad at all.
You take the train in?
Yeah.
When do
So
they start letting people in? What like
six
it's usually
thirty.
they started letting people in the Garden 6:30?
Yeah.
Oh wow. So it was 2 hours before the game because usually it's an hour, right?
Well, yeah, the president was there, so
Right. So they actually let people in 2 hours before
yeah.
because of
Well,
president. Wow.
yeah,
So then
yeah.
what time did you get into the Garden? Like actually in the building?
At like 6:50. We got off the train at like 6:30.
Okay.
Like right or not? We got off at 6:15. Had to wait in line a little bit. Then they started
Well,
to get a
I should say like not the building, like in the arena, like not in the outside part of the building. Like when did you get inside in the arena?
yeah six
Like when did you
seven,
get to your seats?
like 7 o'clock.
Wow. Oh, so you were in there an hour and a half before the game. Wow.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah, it was
What
cool. I
section
mean,
were you in?
212.
Where is
It
that
was
like around
middle,
half court? Where is that?
like in the middle.
Yeah, that's man, wow. That's like the half court section?
Yeah,
Wow, yeah, nice, really nice seats. Are those your season seats or
no, no.
okay.
So yeah, we were like at 212. It was good, and the it was. I mean, we saying let's go Knicks as they entered in. from 6:30 or from 7 to 9 to 8:30. There was "Let's Go Knicks" chants, and it was ridiculous. I mean, it was a ridiculous thing. I mean, there's no it was loud.
So it was loud from 7 o'clock.
Yeah,
Wow.
like
Yeah.
in
I,
sports,
like
but
anything
yeah.
else? Anything else noteworthy there? Like, I mean, I'm
Well,
very,
to be fair,
very.
people didn't get down seated, so maybe it was loud, but it wasn't like max capacity loud. But once you got to that, 8 o'clock area, that's when everybody was there and cheering.
So everyone was pretty much to their seat by 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
Wow.
it wasn't that bad with the president there. Um, I mean, it came around like 7, but I don't know.
Would you say the president came at 7?
No, no, it was probably bad for people like because we came like early,
Oh, okay.
so
I heard you say you broke up there. Um,
yeah, so we came early, so at like 7:30,
what did you eat?
I had pizza, just
Where,
classic,
where did you get what? Where did you get the pizza from in the garden?
just like Sally's Slices.
What's it called?
Sally's Slices.
You were breaking up. I didn't hear you.
It's Sally's Slices in the garden.
What uh, what level is that on?
200 is also on the 100s as well.
I'm trying to think of the pizza place in the garden. Oh, they have the big slices of pizza.
Yes,
Is it that one?
yeah,
Oh, that pizza's phenomenal. Oh, it's so good. So good. I love talking garden food. The garden food is just unbelievable.
yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, that pizza has become my favorite garden food. And then the chicken tenders and the fries are immaculate. But everything there, just absolutely. The garden food is just incredible. You get a burger, the Carnegie Deli. If you want like it's something a little healthier, the fresh cut cold cuts, either turkey or pastrami. It's just wonderful. That's great, Jack. What an experience. I'm really happy for you, your father. You got to go. I mean,
Yeah,
that's what win or lose too. I know we want him to win, but to be at the NBA Finals at Madison Square Garden, that's just an amazing experience. Something you'll remember the rest of your life.
yeah. Um, it was fun. Up late game, but it was good.
What was it like afterwards? How were I mean, obviously disappointed, but what was it like walking out?
Um, people were just, I mean, people were just mad and like you feel like the Knicks also like people were saying like a lot of talk about the refs, of course,
Yeah, I don't
and
blame people. Look, the refs were a huge story last night.
and the Knicks kind of had it, but and the Knicks still had an opportunity to win the game, which pissed people off. I mean, and me too, obviously, not just people, but me too. But yeah, yeah, and crowds like that, I'm not really thinking. I'm just trying to get out of the crowd as soon as possible. I'm not really a like one of those, not like in general like an NBA crowd, but like people that are trying to get out. Everybody was trying to get out at the same time.
Yeah,
It's like it was a very late game. It wasn't like a pull away game, so
yeah,
everyone had to get home at the same time. So, but yeah, I mean everybody was just
yeah. I like that's quite an experience, Jack. I mean, that's awesome that you and your dad were there, and um, I tell you that the image of I got NBA TV on right now. That the image of the garden outside lit up in orange and blue, that Empire State Building. That's just beautiful. Um, it's a great site. Um, that place is a special place. I mean, with the Knicks and the Rangers, everything at the Garden. I mean, it's the place to be. The Big East tournament, which I go to every year, it's like just to experience the Garden, the big events, and there's nothing bigger than the NBA Finals. The Knicks being there, first time in 27 years. I mean, that's um, it's a big deal. I mean, the Knicks are the city's team, and the city is just absolutely on fire right now for the Knicks, and people starving for a championship. So it's certainly going to be buzzing again tomorrow night.
Yep.
So then, how do you feel going forward? I mean, you nailed it with the first three games. I mean, you had said Knicks in six. So you sticking with Knicks in six? Are you sticking with
Look, if the Knicks win, I'm sticking with Knicks in six. But if the Knicks win, I'm gonna change it to if the Knicks win Game 4, I think they'll win in 5.
okay?
But
Yeah, because well, you had the Knicks winning game four
I
and
had
losing.
home winning all the way. From now on, it's gonna be if my prediction stands, it's gonna be home all the
Yeah,
way.
but you're saying you think if the Knicks win tomorrow night, then they'll get game five.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had the Knicks up 2-1, but I didn't predict the three games right like you did. I said the Knicks would lose game one, win game two, win game three. So I was wrong on 2 out of 3 games, but I said the Knicks would be up 2-1. Um, so man, it's tough. It's tough. That's what makes this series great. Like it's dramatic. It's not predictable. Um, you there, Jack?
Yeah.
Okay, you disappeared for a moment. Um, it's dramatic. It's not predictable. There's a lot of different factors. There's a lot to break down. The storylines are great. The Knicks, looking to get that first championship since 1973, and the Spurs looking to potentially start a dynasty with this great young team, a really good young team. Um, like it's tough to predict. I'm just kind of like I think the Knicks are really resilient and tough and deep and experienced. Like there's so many things I like with the Knicks, and there's a lot of things I like the Spurs. So predictions wise, like I had the Knicks losing game 4, and then I had the Knicks winning games 5 and 6. So I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to say that tomorrow night the Spurs win again. I think the Spurs, they're not intimidated by the Garden. I think that I think the Spurs are going to keep playing better as the series goes on. And I think tomorrow night, I don't say this confidently, but I got a feeling the Spurs are going to put together a really good game tomorrow night. Wemby's going to have another really good game. I just think they get another one. Like I think they've kind of come into their own and got over the jitters of their first, NBA finals. And, so I think it's going to come together for them in game 4. They get another win. But then from there, I do think the Knicks are going to get this done. I still do. I think that the experience and the depth and the coaching, and then I think the Knicks after. I think this is just like how I see it, Jack. Like I think the Knicks are going to relax when they go on the road. I just think that's where this series is going, where the Knicks get to game 5. I think on the road, they just get away from all the pressure in New York, and they go out there and they play a big time game 5. Then when they come home, you could say I'm being inconsistent here because then they come home and it's like you got all the pressure of clinching at the Garden. But at that point, I, I don't even have a reason to really back this up. I just think it's still going to be Knicks in six. I don't I have no idea how it's going to happen, but I still think look, the Knicks are still in the driver's seat. They are up 2-1, but I still think the Knicks are going to win this series. I still say six, but if it goes seven, I have confidence the Knicks can win Game 7 in San Antonio. So I still think the Knicks are going to win this championship.
Yeah, I think the Knicks are to win. I think the Knicks just I think the Knicks just bounce back, and that's what the Knicks have done the whole entire time they've had this core as they bounce back from bad losses, and not like this one's a bad loss. Definitely not like I've seen worse, but it is an NBA Finals loss. It was a heartbreaker, so the Knicks do a really good job of bouncing back. I think.
Yeah, they're gonna bounce back. They're gonna bounce back in this series, whether that's tomorrow night, that's Game 5. Like there's gonna be the
I think
bounce
they
back,
start
and
better. I think they also start better. I think they also start with more of a sense of urgency because not like a sense of urgency, just like being smarter with like possessions, less turnovers. I think that stuff with
well, I think that both teams are gonna play better as this series progresses. But again, like I just think again the Knicks are in the driver's seat up 2-1. They got to win 2 games. The Spurs got to win 3 games. That's a major factor. So I think the Knicks are going to get to 2 wins before the Spurs get to 3. And I'm more confident the Knicks are going to win this series now than I was to start the series.
yeah, yeah. I think I definitely am
I do
because
worry about the officiating, though. I think that's a real thing. But
I think the Knicks are gonna have to play through if they want a championship.
yeah,
That's one of those things, man. I mean,
and again, we talked about it a lot in the show. I don't want to go too far with the officiating, but I do think it's a real thing. Um, and it'll be fascinating to see what happens with the officiating in Game 4. Which my prediction is it's going to favor the Spurs. The NBA wants a series to be tied 2-2, but that doesn't mean that the Knicks can't win the game.
yeah,
Because even despite the officiating, it does come down to which team plays better. It's execution. It's adjustments.
definitely, definitely. That's why I think too. I mean, the Knicks had a pretty bad game. They played pretty badly last night. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
it
no, they
was
didn't play a good game, so we can't put it all on the
well,
officiating.
you
No,
can't expect to win by playing a bad game in the NBA Finals. You like the way they won in Game 2 is they won, but they didn't have the best. Like Brunson had the best game. Like they didn't really have a great like I don't know. They had a very gritty 2 games, but you can't expect to win games when you're not playing very very well in the NBA Finals and try to replicate that. You're going to have to put together an actual game. Like Knicks have done that before, but
you know what I'd be surprised by? I'd be surprised by any game being lopsided. I think every game is going to be close, as they've all been close. I think every game is going to be close. I would be surprised if any game's lopsided.
yeah,
Like I don't. Yeah, I don't think I don't think any of these games would be lopsided. Um, like even though the road teams have won all the games, I don't think the road teams will win in a lopsided fashion. Um, I got the only scenario I can see a game being lopsided is if the Spurs buckle under the pressure because of their inexperience. I don't think the Knicks would buckle to the point where they get blown out. I could possibly see with the Spurs. Like maybe tomorrow night, maybe like the Knicks like come out with such a sense of urgency they could take control of the game early and the Knicks win by double
Yeah,
digits.
because even like the Spurs, you could say took control early and were up by 11, but still the Knicks were able to punch back and even end the half up by 7.
And I think both of these teams have punched back. We've seen them both do it in the series. Like I don't see any lopsided
Well,
games.
that's this great matchup. I mean, look, the Knicks were up by 7 coming in the second half. They could have been up by like 14 if they put another run together. Look, the Spurs weren't having any of it. So, yeah,
It's going to be fascinating, Jack. It's been really interesting so far, and the drama is going to build.
excited. Very excited. Hope the Knicks get this win on Wednesday. Huge game in New York.
This is so much better than talk about our baseball teams
Yeah.
too.
All right. Have a nice day. Let's go Knicks.
Go Knicks.
Out.